Acha, on the very first hand, let me make it very clear here. This is a workshop, um, not a say a recorded video kind of a thing or something of that sort. Workshop means here not just I'm going to discuss about the concepts. I would love to have questions from your side on those topics, right? So workshops are originally designed so that this can be a two-way process. But obviously, please don't speak in between. Please don't switch on your mic or audio in between, right? That will cause unnecessary disturbances, nothing more than that. Obviously, I'll be giving you time. I'll be giving you sufficient amount of time so that you can raise your queries, you can ask your questions, and I would love to discuss them here in the workshop itself. Okay, so this is, again, I'm repeating myself, this is a workshop. Okay, though normally the videos of the workshops are not recorded or not shared. Or that should be the case. See, I'm typically from the field of academics, so normally the traditions in the academia, that's what I prefer following. But one thing for sure, we got quite a few requests from number of students with respect to this thing that they can't attend the workshop. Two, three, at least Jitin, I'm losing the names. At least three people, their messages they have forwarded me with the request so that Mr. Bharat, who handles the things, he forwarded me so that we can easily we can record this session. As you can see, this session is being recorded, right? So we are recording this session as well so that the video of this workshop can also be made available for those students who have not been able to join, right? But if you ask me, I would always prefer if you can join the workshop. The reason is the very purpose of the workshop is to make it a two-way process so that the doubts, the problems that you're carrying with yourself, you can ask those doubts on the very topics of the workshop, not beyond the topics of the workshop. That would not be entertained. I would obviously discourage topics beyond the workshop, right? But on the topics of the workshop, I would love to have your questions, have your doubts cleared here, right? As a first and foremost thing. At the same point of time, this workshop, let's come to the topic itself. I've already taken too much of time on laying down the rules and regulations for the workshop. The topic, comparative analysis. This is one of the most critical areas of the syllabus of sociology optional. Okay. What happens is, in comparative analysis, normally as we see, if we talk about IGNOU, if you have been following the free materials and all these things that we have been sharing with you from time to time, very recently the material on thinkers have been shared. Even IGNOU, within the IGNOU materials, we have some materials on the comparative analysis. Okay, but those are not sufficient enough. No way. Right? The full spectrum of the comparative analysis is quite broadened. If I have to discuss about all the aspects from where comparative analysis of the thinkers of paper 1, and then again, please let me remind you, comparative analysis is only done with respect to the pioneering thinkers of paper 1. Comparative analysis of the thinkers of paper 2 is ordinarily not done. Ordinarily not done is not done. Though that does not mean it's not possible. Yes, it's possible, very much possible. Whether M.N. Srinivas or G.S. Ghule or say A.R. Desai, they can easily be compared with one another, right? With respect to their methodology, with respect to their, especially if you know about the syllabus properly, both G.S. Ghule and M.N. Srinivas, they both have been looking at caste system. So in that sense, they both can be compared. At the same point of time, they both have been looking at religion from their own perspectives. So in that sense as well, they can be compared. A.R. Desai, on the other hand, is a Marxist scholar. So he can always be compared with G.S. Ghule or with M.N. Srinivas in respect to his methodology. And then again, M.N. Srinivas and A.R. Desai, they both went for village study. So in that sense, they can also be compared there with respect to village study. But these type of questions neither have been asked by UPSC, nor do we see the possibility given the scope of the syllabus. So comparative analysis of the thinkers of paper 2 is not done. But comparative analysis of the thinkers of paper 1 can be done and is done, and questions from there are quite often than not asked. In fact, every year, at least one or two questions of comparative analysis are seen. The tendency is increasing day by day. But let me be very honest here. Now, normally that I have seen, I cannot talk about other faculties and all these things. They all are respected scholars. I cannot talk about what they do or what happens there. I can talk about the materials or the books or the things which are available in our hands. Normally, we follow the book of Reitzer, right? George Reitzer. Every teacher, while teaching in the field of UPSC, they refer to George Reitzer with respect to thinkers. I have got a message from Piyush, and he says that he is unable to see his screen. Is this the problem with everyone? Okay. If one can see, then everyone should be able to see. Then the problem is not from my side. Okay. Then I would request Piyush, you please check your internet connection, because if this is happening with you, then that means, because if the problem was on my end, then no one could have been able to see me. Okay, chalo. Fine, not an issue. Let's carry on at least. Now, so the book that we follow, I was talking about the book that we ordinarily follow, that is George Reitzer. I don't refer George Reitzer ordinarily. Why? See, the book has not been written keeping UPSC's perspective in mind, right? That book has been written keeping a typical academic orientation in mind, given that that book is hardly of any benefit to us here in UPSC, especially the perspectives, not only the way it looks, the angles which it looks. Those angles are also not the angles what we need here in UPSC, right? In that sense, rather, I have found the IGNOU materials to be more helpful than that book, George Reitzer. Okay, but even there are lots of drawbacks even in the IGNOU material, right? IGNOU as a university has its own curriculum, has its own syllabus. That syllabus is not at all at par with the syllabus of UPSC, right? So these are the pains normally which we face here in the field of UPSC while preparing for UPSC civil services, right? Fine. Now, if I keep the syllabus of UPSC in mind, I have not talked about, or we are yet to look into, what all dimensions are there from where we can compare the thinkers. Okay. Let me be very honest here. There are 13 such areas, not one or two. Right. And why I said that even the IGNOU material is not good enough, because in the IGNOU material, we have the comparative analysis of the thinkers of them two, again, just of three thinkers of paper one, that is Durkheim, Weber, and Marx, from four particular angles. Okay, let me share the screen here so that you can see. This particular, these particular materials, they have been shared yesterday, if I'm not wrong, right? They are the IGNOU materials on the thinkers. Okay. Now here you can see these are the four dimensions from which the thinkers, they have been compared. Methodology, religion, division of labor, capitalism. Methodology of Marx, Durkheim, and Weber, religion of Durkheim and Weber, division of labor of Durkheim and Marx, capitalism of Weber and Marx. Okay. So yes, it's possible. But let me tell you here, when we talk about methodology, from the point of view of methodology, all these 6 thinkers can be compared. Why just Marx, Durkheim, and Weber? Right? And not only these 4 areas, there are, as I was saying, there are a number of other areas as well. I would, if you ask me, I would be talking about 13 such areas. Area number 1, obviously the methodology of all these 6 thinkers, right? All these 6 thinkers can be compared with one another with respect to methodology. Okay. Then comes religion. And in religion, it's not just Durkheim, Weber, but also Marx, right? All the 3 can be compared. There lies that these are the drawbacks of the IGNOU material. Then division of labor, obviously Durkheim and Marx. I know with respect to division of labor, we do not have anything from Weber, right? So it's Durkheim and Marx. Capitalism, Marx and Weber, no doubt, good. But there ends the IGNOU material, right? Then I'm also looking at the ideas of Anomi, Alienation, and Rational Iron Cage. Anomi by Durkheim, Anomi by Robert King Merton, Alienation by Karl Marx, and Rational Iron Cage by Weber. That area is also there. But we do not have any material on that from IGNOU. Right? Even the book George Ritzer is not talking about this area in that sense. Clear? Next. I have already mentioned about the topic of anomy between Durkheim and Merton, right? That can also be compared. And both the scholars are looking at anomy. We'll do it today in the workshop itself. Okay. Then there is the concept of historical method, application of historicity in the works of both Marx and that of Weber. They both are talking about history. Clear? Similarly, social stratification. Social stratification in the works of Karl Marx. Yes, it's there, very much there. Similarly, social stratification is also there in the works of Weber. Social stratification can also be seen in a tangent way in the works of Merton as well. When he talks about the social structure, the theory of social structure, in that book, Merton talks about social stratification in a tangent way, in the form of a reference group, positive reference group and negative reference group. But it is there, right? Similarly, the discussion of power. Discussion of power between Weber and Parsons. Discussion of power of Marx as well. Yes, Karl Marx never directly talked about power, but he has been referring to power. It's not that he has been completely ignoring the concept of power. Right? He has been looking at power more in the form of domination. But yes, he has been looking at power. Clear? Similarly, we can talk about social action of Weber and Parsons. Right? Both of them, they're talking about social action. Social change. This is one concept which is there in the works of all the initial five thinkers. That is Durkheim, Marx, Weber, Parsons, Merton. They all have been talking about social change. Right? Then group and status of Merton with class in itself and class for itself of Karl Marx. That can also be compared. Right? The concept of group membership of Merton on one hand. Right? And on the other hand, the concept of class in itself and class for itself of Marx, they are very close to one another. We don't realize this closeness between the two. Ordinarily, we don't understand that closeness. At the same point of time, the anti-positivism in the works of whether Max Weber, whether Talcott Parsons, or Robert King Merton, or George Herbert Mead, right? Anti-positivism is there in the works of all of them, all of these thinkers. So such 13 areas are there. 13 different areas from where comparative analysis can be studied. Number one, out of these 13 areas, till now, from 8 areas, UPSC have asked questions. Right? If we go through the previous year's questions, since my first attempt was in 2006, so I'll start looking from, say, if I start looking at from the year 2006 onwards, at least from 8 different areas, my attempt, obviously, since I mentioned, my attempt got over in 2010. 10 was my last attempt. Anyway, so, and since then I've been teaching, I've been being into other aspects as well. Okay, so as much as I have seen, because from 2000, my preparation process started in 2005 though. So from 2005 till today, this is 2023, for 18 years, what I have seen, at least 8 areas. What are these 8 areas? Number one, methodology. Number two, religion. Number three, division of labor, capitalism, anomy and alienation of Durkheim and Marx. Similarly, anomy or alienation and rational iron cage of Marx and Weber, right? Anomy of Durkheim and of Merton. At the same point of time, power, social action, social change. In all these concepts, all these 8 concepts, we have seen UPSC to ask questions again and again. Does this mean that the remaining 5 areas from there UPSC is never going to ask questions? Is it so? Is it really so? Because ordinarily when we go to study, what we do, we don't look into things in such details, such great details. No, we don't. Right? What we do, we just look at certain aspects and we leave it there. Even those who are very systematic, what do? They just take up the previous questions, say last 20 years questions. They find out questions from these 8 areas and they study that much only. And that's there. But can anyone guarantee that those 5 areas from where UPSC is yet to ask questions, from there, UPSC would never ask questions? I can't. So my point is, if you're preparing, use this video. Obviously, that's the reason why I've decided to let's share this video with you. Even after the session gets over, once we share the video, revise the area that I've talked about till now. Right? Those 13 areas that I've mentioned, list them down. I'll prepare the list. I'll share the PDF with you along with the link of the video. I'll just ask Bharat to share the PDF of those 13 points. Okay. But my suggestion is go for all those 13 dimensions. Don't leave them. Now, obviously, here in one particular workshop, if you expect that I'll be covering all the 13 areas, it's going to take some time. It's going to take at least 6 to 7 hours. I don't have that much of time. I don't know about you. It's not possible in one workshop, right? I don't know about the future. Today we are doing it. So at least 4 of such areas I'll be taking up, right? I won't take up the areas which are already there in IGNOU material, because you can access those materials. You can easily look into those materials. You can get it from there. Do it on your own. Why do you have to look at me for support here? Now, I'm not going to touch them. They're already there for you. So I'm going to take up 4 areas which are not there in IGNOU material, and I'm going to discuss them here in the live workshop. Let's do that, because that will in any way help us. And obviously, I'm going to take up such areas from where already UPSC has asked questions, and there are still possibilities of asking questions. Okay. Say, let's list down the topics first. That will help us. Number 1, I'm going to look at anomy, the discussion of anomy by Durkheim and by Merton. They both have been talking about anomy. But have they been looking at anomy from the same perspectives, from the same point of view? No. Though the topic is the same, but their approaches and at the same point of time, their understandings are completely different. So comparison is possible. Clear? That's one area that I'm going to discuss. At the same point of time, I'm also going to discuss anomy, alienation, and rational iron cage of Durkheim, Marx, and Weber. That too I'm going to do. Clear? Simultaneously, I'm going to look at, say, application of history in the works of Marx and Weber. I think there is a material on this by IGNOU, so let's ignore that. No. IGNOU has not prepared a material on that. The application of historicity in the works of Weber and Marx. So let's discuss that, right? Actually, what happened? Harleen, your screen is open in front of me right now, and I'm seeing that age. So that age gave me the idea of historicity. Uh, Sorry, it's not that way, but this is one of the significant areas. Or we can avoid this and we can go for social action for sure. Social action in the works of Parsons and Weber, right? They both have been talking about social action. So we'll decide about the topics later on. Let's start with Anomi first. Anomi of Durkheim and Martin. So I would prefer to delve into the topic directly here. See, to understand how they have been looking at the concept, first let's try and define the concept. What is anomy? What do we mean by anomy? Anomy ordinarily means normlessness or lawlessness, a situation of chaos, a situation where the order is not properly working, or a situation where the authority, the controlling authority, is not being able to be effective. If the controlling authority is not being able to be effective, or there is gross normlessness or lawlessness, naturally chaos would start spreading in such a society. That's the concept of anomy. Now, both Durkheim and Martin, they have looked at this particular concept here, the concept of anomy. What is Durkheim saying? Durkheim is looking at anomy as normlessness and lawlessness only, no doubt. The definition for both of them is just the same. So the difference is not in the definition, the difference is in the approach. To Durkheim, anomy, how does anomy rises in the society? Durkheim says anomy is nothing but an abnormal form of division of labor. If you remember the first work, I hope you people have studied the thinkers. By the way, I was told that some of you have never studied the thinkers of paper one. Then it will be a bit difficult, because please try and understand here. I know I'm being a bit haphazard. I'm not being very systematic here, which is very uncharacteristic of me, and which I don't like. But all of a sudden I remembered this. If you have not studied the thinkers, you'll find this discussion a bit hard. Why? Because I cannot revise the thinkers here. If I start revising the thinkers here, I'll be taking huge amount of time. Right? This is a discussion, obviously, of the advanced level. I hope you understand that. Now, anyway, let's come to the discussion that we were doing. For Durkheim talks about division of labor in his seminal work. That means in his first major work, division of labor in society. And in continuation from that work only, he says that when division of labor starts rising in the society, I just got a message actually here. Abin, you have to hold on, bro, because we are discussing one topic which is quite an advanced topic. This is not a beginner's topic. Okay, so you will be finding a little bit difficulty here. Anyway, let's hold. Let's see how much you understand. Okay, Durkheim, his first major work was division of labor in society. Okay. While he talks about division of labor, he says that it is technological advancement which increases division of labor in the society. He looks at technological advancement or degree of technological advancement as one of the social facts. And that social fact gives rise to another social fact called division of labor, which is a morphological social fact in the discussion of Durkheim. Morphological social fact for Abin and for those who are the first timers, yeah, to discuss social fact would be difficult here. Just think this way, that there are certain things which are beyond individuals and they control the society. This is the idea of social fact, a very gross idea of social fact by Durkheim. I just gave the basic idea here. There are a lot more into this, right? But obviously you can understand in a workshop on an advanced topic, I cannot go back to the fundamentals much. Okay. So Durkheim talks about the social fact, the morphological social fact called division of labor. And he says that this morphological social fact called division of labor, it it gives rise to no. Morphological social fact is not rise in spontaneous situation. Morphology is the structure, Anurag. Chalo, if I keep on taking questions or doubts in between, the discussion will go hayward. Let's not do that. I'll hold those doubts for later on. Morphological social fact, in simple words, are those social facts which structure the nature of the society, which shape the morphology. Morphology means physiography or the structure. Okay, that's morphological social fact in the discussion of Durkheim. And he says that division of labor is a morphological social fact which shapes the nature of the society, which shapes the structure of the society. Whether the society is going to be a simple society or a complex society is going to be defined by division of labor. Okay. So here division of labor is doing what? It is shaping the nature of the society. Morphology. Fine. Now, when Durkheim carries forward from here, he says that division of labor can have some abnormal forms. When it starts rising, when division of labor starts rising, it can have those abnormal aspects. Say, for example, the unlimited human want that can start rising. When I realize, say, a particular person realizes that he has got certain skills because of division of labor, he has got certain skills which is in need, right? This demand for those skill set for which has risen because of division of labor, this demand for this skill set is going to make that person greedy, right? Now, if say in this condition, there is lack of material and moral density, the term that was used by Durkheim was lack of material moral density, meaning someone having low moral values. Moral values also we are getting from the society. You, me, we were taught the moral values by our parents, by people around us, by our families, by our teachers, right? In the situation of lack of moral and material density, right? People, they may tend to have greed, they may tend to be driven by greed because they know their specialized skill set can give them huge things, right? So Durkheim says that in such a situation of lack of material and moral density, an abnormal form of division of labor can arise, which gives rise to anomy. Because people here may think they can use their skill set and they can earn huge amount of money out of it. And that's why he says that in this condition, anomy may rise in society. Say, for example, let's talk about a particular doctor, a very good doctor. The doctor knows that the particular area he is skilled in, that area has huge demand in the society. People, they are suffering from that particular area. So doctor starts charging exorbitant rates. And this becomes what? He practically resorts to, say the Hindi word, hafta vasuli kind of thing, right? This is nothing but extortion. Durkheim says this is a situation where the society starts lacking its control over the people. And anomy may rise in the society. Normlessness or lawlessness may start rising in the society because of this unlimited human want, supported by the lack of material and moral density. Clear? So Durkheim talks about anomy from the point of view of material, insider trading. You may talk about that. Okay. So here what's happening, say when insider trading happens, say SEBI fails somehow. I'm not saying SEBI fails. Say at that point of time, SEBI failed to understand that insider trading happened, right? Because the people, they knew things and they exploited the situation. So they gained a lot of money out of it. Clear? The controlling authority who was supposed to be there, the controlling authority failed. That's anomy. This is the form of anomy that Durkheim talks about. And Durkheim refers to anomy and these kind of things as pathological social fact, as negative things. But still he says that even these pathological social facts, they are necessary in the society in limited quantity. He says if these pathological social facts like anomy, they happen in small quantity, what happens? Some people may suffer, and those who did this, they may get caught by the society, right? As a result, they become example. So the society at large, they feel that no, let's abide by the law. Let's follow the law. They don't break law. So majority of the population, they decide ki let's follow the law only. Let's not break the law, because if we break the law, we will be punished like those people. We will be ashamed, will be named and shamed. Right? So Durkheim says that yes, anomy is negative in nature. It is an abnormal form of division of labor. I'm repeating myself. It is an abnormal form of division of labor rising from lack of material and moral density because of unlimited human want. Okay, but because it is a pathological social fact, it is negative in nature. In a limited sense, anomy is functional for the society. That's why it exists in the society. Clear? That's the idea. This is the idea of anomy by Durkheim. Now I'm going for the idea of anomy by Martin. Martin looks at anomy in one of the articles, one of the essays that Martin wrote. I think I have the essay with me right now. Anyway, we'll share the essay later on even if we have. Martin writes an essay called Culture, Structure and Anomy in 1938. Okay. In that particular essay, he for the first time refers to anomy as a concept. Okay. He says that anomy, again, the definition is just the same, even for Martin. Martin also talks about anomy as an abnormal form of, as a lack of control on the society, or as normlessness or lawlessness. Okay, that's what Martin also says. But Martin says anomy rises in the society because of something else, because of strain. What kind of strain? Strain means S-T-R-A-I-N, strain. Strain means say stress, a stress situation. Why is this stress situation rising in the society? Martin says, say if there is a goal given to the people, right? A goal which has been culturally and socially accepted. Say the goal you people are being driven by to be a civil servant, right? This kind of a goal. Say there is a goal which has been given by the society. Okay, you can achieve these things and those things. But then the society does not give those people what is necessary to achieve that goal. So the goal is there, but the means to achieve that goal is not there. In this condition, what will happen? Anomy will rise. Anomy will rise in the society. Because people will try to innovate. People will try to achieve new and new things. Let me take an example of one of the infamous persons in India. We all have heard the name one time or another, Dawood Ibrahim Kaskar. Why this is one of the typical examples which I like to discuss. His name, Dawood Ibrahim Kaskar, his father, Ibrahim Kaskar, was a head constable in Mumbai police. His father was also posted in the crime branch at one point of time. Okay. Son of a police person becoming a gangster. Why? This guy, he had the ambition to be someone very, very, very well known in the society, someone with money, right? The rush of the modern life. We need to be wealthy. We need to be great people. We need to be making huge money, good money. But then the means was not available. Why the means was not available? There were 6 brothers or sisters, give and take. I'm exactly 6 or 7. I'm not remembering the exact figure right now. Anyway, in fact, even Dawood Ibrahim himself was sent to a English medium school by his father. But after class 6, his father could not afford the fees of the school. His father was suspended perhaps during that time because of some brawl or something of that sort. And as a result, Daud Ibrahim dropped out from the school, right? So because he was not allowed that means, now he started innovating. Why I use this word innovating here? Because this is the exact word which has been used by Robert King Merton while talking deviance, while discussing deviance, theory of deviance, strain theory, right? Theory of social strain. He says that in the situation where the goal is there, goal to be a great person, goal to be a wealthy person, but the means is not available, people will tend to innovate, and from there anomy will rise in the society. So Merton talks about anomy, but he talks about anomy from a different point of view. And that's where these two theories become comparable. They both accept the same concept, but how it rises, the process, the mechanism of rise of the discussion of anomy in the discussion of the two thinkers are completely different. Clear? I hope here I have been able to make the concept clear to you people, right? Chalo, now let me go for the messages which came, which I at that point of time I couldn't look into. Illegal abortion. Yeah, in a sense, true. Right? So this is what we are looking at. Right? Sure. Is the concept clear to all of you? Good. Now, let's talk about anomy of Durkheim, alienation of Marx, and rational iron cage of Weber. Alienation of Durkheim, I just a while back I discussed. Marx says that driven by unlimited human want, human beings, we are driven by want, unlimited amount of want at times. Given that driven by that unlimited human want, an abnormal form of division of labor rises in the society, right? And that predominantly rises because of lack of material and moral density. That's because of that alienation, right? Because of that, anomy rises in society. So anomy is nothing but an abnormal form of division of labor to Durkheim that we talked about. Alienation, the concept of alienation for Karl Marx, that's also a negative concept, right? Marx says that alienation is nothing but a tool. It is a tool in the hands of the bourgeois. Marx is typically talking about the capitalist phase of human history, capitalist society, a society which is driven by the capitalistic mode of production. Marx talks about that society. In that society, Marx says there are grossly two major categories of people, groups of people: the bourgeois, the thesis, and the proletariat, the workers, the antithesis. Bourgeois means capitalist. Capital is the thesis, and the proletariat, the workers, they are the antithesis. These are the two broad categories, right? The bourgeois, they need to keep on exploiting the proletariat, because if they can't perpetuate their exploitation of the proletariat, they cannot ensure that the capitalist mode goes on, and they cannot ensure their control over wealth. If they have to do that, they have to ensure perpetuation of this exploitation. For that purpose, Marx says that the bourgeois, they would be creating certain mechanisms to control and exploit the proletariat. One of these mechanisms or one of these tools is alienation. So alienation is what? A tool of exploitation. A tool of exploitation in the hands of the bourgeois of the proletariat. Clear? So what is alienation? Marx says alienation happens in 5 stages. Okay. First, alienation from the product. Marx compares the capitalist mode of production with that of the previous modes. Marx says, look at the previous modes. Look at, say, the the ancient society, that is a slave society, or the feudal society. Say a cobbler, a shoemaker, used to make shoes in those societies. They used to make the whole shoe with their own hands. And not only they used to make the shoe, say a shoemaker who used to make a shoe, the shoemaker used to design the shoe very nicely, used to put his stamp on the shoe. Why? Because people used to know the shoemaker by the shoe. The shoe was not just a product. The shoe used to be the identity of the shoemaker. Right? That's what Marx used to talk about. That's what Marx used to say. That the product was a part of the identity of the worker in those societies, in ancient society and in feudal society. But look at the capitalist society here in the conveyor mode of production, conveyor belt mode of production. What's happening here? The product is no more the product of the worker. Say you, me, when we go to the shop to buy a shoe or anything of that sort, we buy Wrangler, say Adidas shoes or Wrangler shoes, right? Or Bata. Do we know the workers or the worker who was behind it? No. The product is no more part of the identity of the worker. The product has been alienated from the worker now. That's the first stage of alienation. The product becomes the product of the company, not of the worker anymore. Simultaneously, this second step. What is the second step? Previously, because the worker, say this example of the shoemaker making the shoe, he knew every step of shoemaking. And accordingly, he used to make the shoes. Okay. But see, in the conveyor belt mode of production, what's happening? The conveyor, the worker on the conveyor belt, he is just working on one aspect of shoemaking. Say in the conveyor belt, the sole comes. The job of the worker is to put the heel on the sole and hit it with a hammer. That's it. So he knows how to put the heel on the sole and hit it with a hammer, and he knows nothing more than that. So what's happening here? Here, the worker is being alienated from the production process as well. He does not know the whole process. The process is also taken away from him. So first, alienation from the product. Second, alienation from the production process. Clear? Next comes the third aspect of alienation. What is that? Marx says that though all these workers, they're working in the same factory, same work environment, but yet they hardly know each other. Right? Say one of the workers is working in ground floor, the other worker is working in the first floor, and they do see each other, but they can't talk. Why? If they start talking to each other, the speed of the production process will get hampered and all these things. So they're discouraged from talking to each other. They're compartmentalized. Right? Marx says, as a result of this, what's happening? The workers is also alienated from the co-workers as well. The proletariat is also alienated from his co-workers as well. That's the third step of alienation. Okay. Then comes the fourth step of alienation. Why do you think the worker came out to work to sell his labor power? The worker came out to work so that he can feed his family. He can earn his wages. He can take back that wages and feed his family. Right? That was the reason why the worker came out to work, why the worker came out to sell his labor power. But what happened? Look at the factory system. I don't know how many of you have ever been to any industrial town. If you have been to an industrial town, you'll know. Say early in the morning at 8 in the morning, there would be a whistle. In fact, 15 minutes before 8, at 7:45, there would be a whistle, which will inform everyone that a shift is going to change. And the whole town can hear that whistle. Those who are working in the night shift, they're going to go home, and the morning shift will start at 8. So all the workers, they would rush towards the factory. All the workers of the morning shift, they would rush towards the factory. Now think of the worker's life. right? Early in the morning at 6, he may have had woken up, he may have had gone to the market, got things from the market, gave it to his wife to prepare as food. He went to take a bath, took the bath, came out, prayed, then ate his breakfast, took the lunch box, and rushed to the factory, right? By evening, his work should be over, his shift should be over. No, high chances he'll be doing overtime after this. Why? Because maybe there is a swell in order for the company, so the company needs more workers, so high chances they would be made to work overtime. Now the worker would not come back on time. At the middle of the night, when the worker will come back, by the time his family has gone to sleep, maybe the old age parents for whom this worker is the child supporting them, for his own children, for his own kids, he's absent, he's completely absent. He's so engrossed in his work, he has completely lost himself. He is not part of the family anymore, though he is living in the family. So now what's happening? Alienation from the family. That's the fourth step. And when these four stages are complete, four steps are complete, comes the fifth step or the fifth stage, alienation from the self. After a point of time, the worker even forgets himself or herself. You must have come across some people who, whenever you talk to them, whenever you ask them to introduce themselves, they would first start talking about the organization that they are representing. The organization is not theirs. Neither they belong to the organization nor the organization belongs to them. The organization is the property of someone else, maybe high chances of the shareholders, right? Tomorrow the organization can throw the person out. He doesn't have that feeling because he has lost himself in the organization. He has taken the identity of the organization as his own identity, right? शगुफ्ता हिंदी में बोल तो सकते हैं, लेकिन आई डोंट, मतलब मुझे ये मालूम नहीं कि सभी लोग कंफर्टेबल होंगे कि नहीं होंगे, क्योंकि ये वर्कशॉप पैन इंडिया किया जा रहा है। कई लोग मुझे मालूम है जो आंध्रा से है, जो कर्नाटका से है, जो इवन तमिलनाडु से भी है कुछ लोग। तो मुझे नहीं मालूम। राइट, एग्जैक्टली। ओके, ठीक है, कोशिश करते हैं। ठीक है, चलो। लेकिन जो कंसेप्ट है वो कंसेप्ट तो हिंदी में हम बोल नहीं पाएंगे। अब साथ में जोड़ सकते हैं, चलो बीच में जोड़ देंगे हिंदी को। ठीक है, तो व्हाट वी वर टॉकिंग अबाउट, चलो I'll try. Okay. So let's talk about the concept first. So as Marx was talking about here कि these are the 5 steps. अभी तक हम वो 5 स्टेप डिस्कस किए हैं, 5 स्टेप एलियनेशन के। ठीक है, the 5 steps of alienation, that's what I have discussed till now. So for Marx as well, alienation is nothing but a very negative, a very dark concept, and so is anomy for Durkheim. So can we compare them? देखो, एनोमी जो डर्कहाइम, जिस तरीके से डर्कहाइम ने एनोमी को देखा है, आप डर्कहाइम प्रोनाउंस करो, दुर्खिम प्रोनाउंस करो, उससे मुझे मतलब नहीं है। मैं भी देखो यार, इंग्लिश में एग्जैक्ट प्रोनाउंसिएशन क्या होगा मुझे नहीं मालूम, इट्स अ प्रॉपर नेम। और वो भी ये बंदा जो है ये फ्रेंच थे, डर्कहाइम वाज अ फ्रेंच पर्सन, सो आई डोंट नो हाउ हिज नेम वाज प्रोनाउंस्ड। कैन बी डर्कहाइम, कैन बी दुर्खिम, people pronounce it in different ways. I'm pronouncing it as Durkheim. I can be wrong, I'm not getting into that, right? पर डर्कहाइम ने वो जब एनोमी की तरफ, एनोमी एज अ कंसेप्ट, उस कंसेप्ट की तरफ देखे, उन्हें लगा कि ये एक नेगेटिव कंसेप्ट है, दिस इज अ वेरी डार्क कंसेप्ट। दैट्स व्हाट ही फेल्ड, दैट्स व्हाट ही थॉट। ऑन द कॉन्ट्ररी, when why on the contrary, simultaneously, even Marx, when Marx is looking at alienation, he's looking at alienation as well as a dark concept. So they are the similarities. But or else, as a concept, are they comparable? एक कंसेप्ट के हिसाब से क्या एनोमी का जो डिस्कशन अभी तक हम किए हैं और जो एलियनेशन का कंसेप्ट अभी तक हम डिस्कस किए हैं, क्या ये दोनों कंसेप्ट एक जैसे हैं? ना, नो दे आर नॉट, राइट? Anomy as a concept, when I'm looking at that concept, that concept is more individualistic in nature, right? That anomy is happening in the life of the of the person, the particular person. It may rise in the society. As a social fact, it might be rising in the society. On the other hand, when I'm looking at alienation, right? When I talk about alienation in the discussion of Karl Marx, what is it? It is a tool. And look at the steps. The fifth stage was, or the fifth step was alienation from the self, where the worker forgot himself, where the worker became completely engrossed in the company, lost his own identity, assumed the identity of the company. You go to people, I have met people who, on the very first hand, you ask them, ki, okay, if you could introduce yourself. They first start talking about, I come from XYZ company. अरे टेल योर नेम फर्स्ट ब्रो, अपना नाम पहले बता दो, उसके बाद कंपनी का नाम बता देना. पहले तो अपने आप को इंट्रोड्यूस करो. फर्स्ट इंट्रोड्यूस योरसेल्फ, देन यू कैन इंट्रोड्यूस योर कंपनी. बट नो, पीपल एट टाइम्स डू फॉरगेट दैट दे आर नॉट जस्ट अ कॉग इन द व्हील. दे आर नॉट, वो लोग कंपनी का हिस्सा नहीं है, राइट? वो सिर्फ उस कंपनी में काम करते हैं. ये वो लोग कई बार भूल जाते हैं. People do tend to forget this aspect. That's where it gets wrong. That's alienation from the self. Okay. Fourth stage is alienation from the family. अपने परिवार से जब alienation हो जाता है, when the people they get alienated from the family completely. The family for whom they came out to work, and they get alienated from that family only because of the workload, because of the work pressure. We quite often than not, we hear about workaholic people, right? People who tend to involve more in the work than in anything else, right? So that's what we are looking at. That's the fourth stage. Clear? Alienation from the family. Fifth stage, alienation from the self, from one's own self, right? Quite often than not, you'll see people after retirement, they become a bit irritated, right? They why? Because they have been spending their time in their work. They have been engrossed in their work. After retirement, when they become completely stuck in the house, they tend to get irritated because they don't know what to do with the time, with the spare time that they have in their hands. Why? Because for all these days, for all these years, they have completely lost themselves in the work. Okay, so that's what we are looking at. That's alienation from the self. These are the 5 stages. Now clear? Okay. Now I'm coming to the discussion of alienation, coming to the concept of rational iron cage of Max Weber. Weber says Weber was fixated by rationality as a concept. Weber, उनके दिमाग में ना ये rationality as a concept ये पूरा घुस गया था एकदम से. Okay. वेबर के काम में कईयों जगह पे हम लोग बार-बार rationality को लेके discussions देखे हैं. तो वेबर कहते हैं कि Weber says that the society we are living in, the modern society that we are living in, modern and postmodern societies, one of the predominant aspect of this society is rationality. It's driven by rationality, right? What's the definition of modernity? If I ask you what is the definition of modernity, the definition itself starts from rationality. Rational thinking, logical thinking. That's what modernity is. Isn't it so? Anyone here, do you think modernity is wearing jeans and t-shirt? No, modernity is not that. Modernity rises from rational thinking, logical thinking. Right? Show me one photograph of Mr. M.K. Gandhi wearing jeans and t-shirt. You can't. Right? I'm not by any way, I'm not insulting him. I'm with all the respect, I'm saying that he was a modern man. Please try and understand. But we have never seen a photograph of the father of the nation, Mr. M.K. Gandhi, wearing a jeans and a t-shirt. Why? Because that's not what is necessary to be modern. A person becomes modern by the thought process, by the thinking. Clear? So to be modern, you don't need to be need to wear jeans and t-shirt or something of that sort. Clear? So rationality is the thing that drives everything. ठीक, लॉजिकल होना, लॉजिकल बनना, यही मॉडर्निटी को ड्राइव करता है, राइट? तो इसी वजह से वेबर कुछ ज्यादा ही फोकस कर गए थे ऑन rationality. Weber was fixated, as I say. He was a bit fixated on the concept of rationality as a result of this. Now, what happened because of this? Everywhere he has been trying to find rationality. After a point of time, he would say that this rationality would also start killing us. He makes it very clear that we are living in a modern society, in a rational society. But after a point of time, this tendency of being logical, this tendency of being rational would also start killing us. How? He'll say, when we try to be rational, what do we try to do? We try to make things predictable. Say the modern legal system, जो अभी के टाइम के जो कानूनी व्यवस्था है, it's a written law, right? Written legal system, one law applicable across the country, right? That's the modern legal system. Why is it so? Because this makes the legal system predictable for the common people. लोगों के लिए ये system predictable हो जाता है, right? As a result, it creates certain advantages. What kind of advantages? Because the legal system is predictable. Say someone being in Bangalore, say yesterday I was in Bangalore, today I am at another place, tomorrow I can be in Delhi. But I am least bothered. Why I am least bothered? Because I know the law of the land is just the same everywhere, wherever I go. देश का कानून थोड़ी बदल जाएगा, शहर बदलने से देश का कानून तो नहीं बदल जाएगा ना। तो इससे क्या होता है? इससे मुझे एक सहूलियत मिलती है. My efficiency gets increased. If the legal system becomes predictable, my efficiency gets increased because I know what is the law, right? So rationality always tries to increase efficiency, and while trying to increase efficiency, it tries to make things predictable. And when things start becoming predictable, we lose our creativity, right? Human beings by nature, they're creative, but we lose that creativity in the name of predictability, in the name of efficiency, in the name of rationality. तो एक टाइम के बाद ये रैशनलिटी जैसे एक पूरा खांचा बना देता है, उस खांचे में हम लोगों को डाल देता है. After a point of time, this rationality creates an iron cage kind of a thing and puts us in that iron cage. It says you can't come out of that cage. You have to be in that cage. Why you can't come out of that cage? Because if you come out of that cage, the predictable nature will get broken, efficiency will be compromised. But if you don't come out of that cage, you will never be able to be creative. Your creative mind will get stuck, right? So this is the discussion of हो सकता है Shakti, because that's another aspect of the the digital. Internet is not in our control. It might get stuck at times. Right now, it should be okay. Anyway, let's go ahead. Okay, so this is the concept of rational iron cage. That after a point of time, this rationality starts killing us. It starts robbing us of our creativity. It as if puts us in a iron cage where we get stuck. Clear? Now look at all the three concepts. All the three concepts are negative concepts. ये तीनों के तीनों बहुत dark concept है. No, that's how they are, right? But at the same point of time, look at Durkheim. Durkheim is taking that negativity in a positive way. Durkheim उस negativity को भी एक positive way में ले रहे हैं. कैसे? He is saying that anomy or any form of pathological social fact in a limited quantity is functional for the society. उसे रहने दो. Let that pathological social fact be there in the society in limited quantity. It will scare others. It will make others follow the law. They will look at it. They will look at how these people are being punished, and they will follow the law in turn. So negative concept को भी Durkheim positively ले रहे हैं. Karl Marx, when he is talking about alienation, he says, yes, alienation is a tool of exploitation, but there is a way out. What is the way out? Break the system, go for class struggle. If you go for class struggle, you break the system, you break all these exploitations of the bourgeois, or these exploitations by the bourgeois of the proletariat. ठीक? तो कार्ल मार्क्स डर्कहाइम की तरह उस नेगेटिव कंसेप्ट को पॉजिटिवली नहीं देख रहे. कार्ल मार्क्स इज नॉट लुकिंग एट अ नेगेटिव कंसेप्ट in a positive way like Durkheim. No, he's not doing that, but he's giving us a solution. He's saying कि after class struggle or with class struggle, अरे ना आशुतोष, they are completely different concepts, bro. खिचड़ी पक जाएगा भाई. They are completely two different concepts. They have nothing to do with class struggle right now. Class in itself and class for itself are the two criteria for formation of class. उसमें अभी मत जाओ. You take the concept of A and put it into the concept of B. Don't do that. No. Not at all. Hold it. Remind me again later on about this confusion. I'll address this confusion later on. Okay. Right now, just focus on what I'm talking about. The solution to alienation is class struggle. Class struggle is what? Proletariat, the workers, led by the petty bourgeois. Petty bourgeois means small-time land property owners, right? Say shopkeepers, school teachers, lawyers, doctors, right? These kind of people, professors, lecturers, these kind of people, they are the petty bourgeois. Those petty bourgeois and the workers together, they should take the challenge to the bourgeois. And they should change the system. That is class struggle. That change of the system, that clash between the two titans, if I may say, that is class struggle. Class struggle is revolution. Okay, so that's where the solution lies. You destroy the system, you change the system, you destroy the rule of the bourgeois, you bring in socialistic social order, and there would be no exploitation like alienation. Clear? That's the concept of Karl Marx. Max Weber, on the other hand, is completely negative. Right? He is not providing us any solution. How to come out of rational iron cage? We do not know. For the example of rational iron cage, let's talk about bureaucracy. Okay. Let's say you as a civil servant, you as an IS officer, the first posting of yours will be as an SDM or SDO, sub-divisional magistrate or sub-divisional officer, mostly sub-divisional magistrate. Those states where the magisterial duties are not there, in those states there will be SDO, sub-divisional officer. Anyway, let's come back. Say an old lady comes to you, an old lady who's not properly educated, who's very poor, and she has been cheated. But on papers, there's no supporting document to help her. Right? Here, you may get stuck, though you want to help her out, but you may feel getting stuck. That's rational iron cage. At least on papers, you have nothing to support her. So you have to find out ways outside the means. Now, that solution is not part of the discussion of Max Weber. Max Weber talks about this helplessness on the part of you. That's the rational iron cage. And he's not providing us with any solution here. Clear? Now is the concept clear to you? This was asked by Piyush, I think. Any example of rational iron cage? Okay, चलो. अभी ये concepts clear हुए हैं ये तीनों? Are these three concepts clear to you, guys? Yeah, red tapeism, as we say, or so many other things. Now that red tapeism is also very very significant here. Why? Because that makes the system predictable. अब जब सिस्टम के अंदर जाओगे ना तब आपको समझ में आएगा वो रेड टेपिज्म एज एन ऑफिसर आपको बचाता भी है. इट सेव्स यू because you will be dealing with money. People will see people the moment they get into civil services, people who are outside, they think the civil servants are corrupt. That frustration, that will become a jewelry for you. You know you're not corrupt. You're trying to do it for the common people only. But still, people will think you're corrupt. So at times that red tapeism actually helps the civil servants. But that does not mean that they don't feel suffocated. That does not mean that they don't feel frustrated because they want to do it. Accountability. Clear? Chalo. Well, thank you. Thank you, Shivani. Okay? Clear. Chalo. So this is the discussion here that we have been talking about. Fine. So ye tha concept of Anomi of Durkheim, Alienation of Karl Marx, and Rational Iron Cage of Max Weber. Right? The similarities and also at the same point of time the differences in their concepts. Right? That's the reason why I asked you whether the concepts are clear to you or not, and also the similarities and the differences, because they all are at the same point of time, they all are negative concepts. None of these concepts are positive concepts. Clear? But Durkheim is taking the negative concept in a positive way. Marx is at least providing a solution to it. Marx is not taking it in a positive way. Marx says it's negative and it's negative. Fine, finished. But Marx is providing a solution. Weber is not doing that. Clear? Sure. Good. Now, let's go for the next topic, that is historical method. Now, I have been talking for a long time on these issues. Let's take the doubts here. Okay, beach mein, we have been receiving quite a few doubts in between. Ashutosh, I told you to remind me something. Yeah. The idea of class for itself and class in itself. See, please try and understand one simple concept here. Class struggle is what? Class struggle is a challenge taken by one group of people against another group of people. Tick. Now, to take that challenge, they have to unite first. There's a simple saying, united we stand, divided we fall. We know this. Marx is saying exactly that. Marx says that look at the proletariat, look at the workers. Because of alienation, the workers are not united. They're divided now. Why? The third step of alienation from the co-workers. The workers are no more united. They are completely divided now. Now, these divided workers, singularly, can they take a challenge against a powerful group of people? One person against a powerful group of people, can it happen? That one single person will be crushed. So they have to form a group first. Only that group can take the challenge against the powerful group. That's the idea of Karl Marx. So for class struggle, class formation needs to happen. इस चैलेंज को आगे ले जाने के लिए, ताकि इस ग्रुप को, ये जो ताकतवर ग्रुप है, इसे चैलेंज किया जा सके, उसके लिए ये वर्कर्स जो है, इन्हें भी एकजुट होना पड़ेगा, इन्हें भी एक ग्रुप बनना पड़ेगा, तभी चल के ये इस दूसरे पावरफुल ग्रुप के साथ वो चैलेंज ले पाएंगे. ठीक? वो ग्रुप बनना कैसे है, उसके लिए दो पैरामीटर्स है, वो है क्लास इन इटसेल्फ एंड क्लास फॉर इटसेल्फ, कि इन्हें ग्रुप बनाया कैसे जाए, क्योंकि ये अब खुद से ग्रुप नहीं बन पाएंगे. right? The proletariat cannot be a group on on their own because of alienation as a tool. The way alienation has been used as a tool, the proletariat would remain divided. They cannot unite properly. And if they cannot unite properly, they cannot take the challenge against the bourgeois. For that, for this purpose of formation of the group, we need two factors. Those are class in itself and class for itself. Class in itself means when people from outside, they look at these people and they feel that they belong to one particular group. Say a group of students wearing the same uniform, or a group of workers wearing the same uniform of the company. People from outside looking at them and feeling, okay, yes, they belong to the one same group. That's class in itself, right? जब लोग बाहर से देखे और उन्हें लगे कि नहीं, ये जो सामने मेरे सामने जो 15-20 लोग हैं, वो एक ही ग्रुप से बिलोंग करते हैं, वो एक ही ग्रुप से है. That's class in itself. And what is class for itself? When those people, they feel that yes, they are part of the same group. They have to have that feeling. अगर आपस में वो फीलिंग ना हो, तब चल के वो एक ग्रुप नहीं बन पाएंगे, वो एकजुट नहीं बन पाएंगे. That's class for itself. Clear? So class in itself and class for itself are the two factors for formation of the group. Once they form the group, now they can cause the class struggle. Clear? Absolutely. Now you're right. For everyone, are the concepts clear, guys? Please try to understand the concepts. Don't mug them. Again and again, I'll say, don't mug them. Try to understand them. चीजों को समझिए. जो concepts है, उन्हें अपने बारीकियों से समझिए. रटना नहीं है. Guys, none of us, we do not know what questions are going to be formed and framed. If we understand the concepts, we can write them. Even if the question gets twisted, we can write them if we know the concepts. If we don't know the concepts, if we only mug things, we'll never be able to write spontaneously. Ashutosh, why are you taking it so advanced? Problem kya ho raha hai malum hai? Say I'm talking about point number 1. You're already thinking on point number 10 at that point of time. Come back, bro. False class consciousness, true class consciousness, abhi usme jana hi nahi hai. First form the group, man. First form the class. Right? What you're asking me is to elaborate the whole theory of Karl Marx right now, the whole theory of class struggle. In fact, I don't remember whether I have the book here or not with me. No, the book has been taken up. It's somewhere else. What you're asking me is to elaborate the book called The Communist Manifesto in front of you right now. भाई अगर वो मैं करने गया ना, for that I would say कि एक वीडियो है, मेरा एक वीडियो है, वो जो the free class that's there, the free recorded video that's there, use it, you'll get the concept there, right? Because if I try to discuss that whole concept here, okay, sure, that I can do. I'm starting from the very beginning. Okay, very beginning in the sense, just the beginning of this discussion. Marx says the bourgeois. What is the bourgeois trying to do? What are the bourgeois they are trying to do? Bourgeois as a class, what are they trying to do? They're trying to perpetuate their exploitation of the proletariat. वो अपना जो proletariat के ऊपर अपना जो exploitation है उसे आगे बढ़ाना चाहते हैं. Why they want to perpetuate the exploitation of the proletariat so that they can keep on earning money, more wealth. Right? That's what the objective of the bourgeois is. Now, if they have to do that, they need to ensure that the proletariat can never challenge them. If the bourgeois is a thesis, the proletariat is an antithesis, and they're meant to clash with each other, then only the synthesis will come, the forces of dialectics will work. So if the bourgeois can destroy the antithesis, if the antithesis lose their power, their capacity to challenge the bourgeois, what will happen? There would never be any change of situation. There would never be any dialectics. ये पार्ट क्लियर है? एकदम बेसिक्स में आओ. एकदम से शगुफ्ता. यही है. That's what it is. Okay. Now what's happening? How the bourgeois is ensuring that the proletariat cannot challenge them? There are three tools. Okay. Tool number one, the control of the superstructures by the infrastructure. अभी उस डिटेल्स में नहीं जाएंगे, वो फिर थियरी के अंदर जाना पड़ेगा, राइट? उसमें नहीं जाएंगे, वो हिस्टोरिकल मटेरियलिज्म का पार्ट है, उसमें नहीं जाना चाहते अभी. टूल नंबर टू, एलियनेशन. अभी थोड़ी देर पहले एलियनेशन के बारे में हम लोग बात किए हैं. एंड टूल नंबर थ्री इज द कंसेप्ट ऑफ कमोडिटी फेटिशिज्म. अभी ये कंसेप्ट नंबर वन और कंसेप्ट नंबर थ्री को छोड़ दो प्लीज, सिर्फ कंसेप्ट नंबर टू पे बात करते हैं. दैट इज एलियनेशन. कंसेप्ट नंबर टू में ही है. Let's leave concept number one, that is the discussion of the infrastructure and superstructures and the discussion of commodity fetishism right now. Let's talk only about the second mechanism to control the proletariat. What is that? That is alienation. I told you that there are 5 stages of alienation, and the third stage of alienation was alienation from the co-workers. The moment alienation from the co-workers happened, what happened? The proletariat became disintegrated. जैसे ही ये alienation from the co-worker हुआ, क्या हुआ? जो proletariat था वो बिखर गए, वो अब एकजुट नहीं रहे. The moment the third stage of alienation happened, the proletariat became disintegrated. The moment they got disintegrated, they lost their capacity to challenge together. Right? Now, the saying that together we stand, or united we stand, divided we fall. That's the thing that's happening here. The moment the proletariat got disintegrated, the moment the proletariat got divided, the moment alienation from co-workers happened, the proletariat lost their capacity to challenge the bourgeois. That's what happened. Clear? As a result, now they cannot take the challenge to the bourgeois anymore. So what we have to do? Because Marx is all about solution. He is trying to give the solution. Dekho, there is a difference between Karl Marx and the other pioneering thinkers. The other thinkers, they're from the field of sociology, or they have got into the field of sociology. Karl Marx is neither from the field of sociology, nor he intends to be a sociologist. Karl Marx is no one. He is neither a sociologist, nor an economist, nor a political scientist, nor a philosopher. Karl Marx was a political activist. He was a political worker. Right? The genius was that the idea that the man gave, those ideas started dominating the world for a long period of time. And that was not right. That was wrong in a sense. That's where the problem was. Clear? So that's what happened. Okay, sure, fine. So now comes the solution part. What is the solution part? The solution part is where the proletariat needs to come together. If they have to take the challenge to the bourgeois, they need to come together. How would they come together? For that, those two factors. Clear? Only once they come together, they can take the challenge to be bourgeois. Clear? What are these two factors? Class in itself, often called as the objective criteria, and number two, class for itself, often called the subjective criteria. Clear? अब clear है? Ashutosh? One thing let me announce here. We are starting a crash course on the platform of Cognitate. Okay. This crash course is going to start from 25th of February, right? It will go on till 27th of March. That is that would be Monday, right? Timing would be 2 p.m. to 4:30 p.m. as you can see, right? You can go to the website of Cognitate. Cognitate के website में जाइए. Go to the website of Cognitate. Go to the courses. मेरे यहाँ पे थोड़ा सा इशू होने हैं. If you go to the homepage of the website of the Cognitate, ये जो courses है यहाँ पे individual courses में जाइएगा. तो पहला ही जो कोर्स यहाँ पे दिखेगा, that's this crash course. Okay. प्रीव्यू में क्लिक कीजिएगा तो आपको यहीं पे लेके आ जाएगा, इसी पर्टिकुलर टैब में ये लेके आ जाएगा. Right. This is going to start from 25th of February. टाइमिंग थोड़ा सा जो हम रखे हैं उसके पीछे मेरा अपना एक फिलोसॉफी है. टाइमिंग मतलब ये जो 25th of February to 27th of March है, मुझे एक्चुअली चाहिए 30 दिन का टाइम. इस सिलेबस को कंप्लीट करने के लिए मुझे 30 दिन टाइम चाहिए, 75 आवर्स टू बी वेरी ऑनेस्ट. तो उसी तरीके से इसे डिजाइन किया गया है इस कोर्स को. अब वो टाइम हम लोग क्यों रखे हैं, उसके पीछे एक जो मेरा अपना लॉजिक है, जिस कारण से I've gone for this. Right. The thing is, why I went for this timing. See, your prelims is on 28th of May. Ordinarily, people, they leave studying or preparing the optional long time before, which is very wrong. Hardly anyone tells us this. My own suggestion is you should not be leaving preparing the optional for more than 2 months. If the prelims is on 28th of May till 27th of March, you should be in touch with the optional subject. Okay. So because of that, why so? The reason is, any subject, any optional subject, if you break the connection with the subject for more than 2 months, after prelims, say you're confident about mains. After prelims, when you start preparing the subject, because there is a bigger gap, you would be losing so much and you would be in a panic after that. You would have to regain a lot of space. क्या होता है? प्रीलिम्स के टाइम पे लोग मतलब काफी पहले से ही ऑप्शनल सब्जेक्ट प्रिपरेशन बंद कर देते हैं, और जैसे वो प्रीलिम्स के बाद फिर मतलब मान लीजिए 3 महीना 4 महीना ऑप्शनल से कोई टच नहीं है, और जब प्रीलिम्स के बाद फिर ऑप्शनल का प्रिपरेशन दोबारा से शुरू करते हैं, वो कॉन्फिडेंट है कि प्रीलिम्स निकल जाएगा, लेकिन मेंस के टाइम पे अब वो पैनिक करना शुरू कर देते हैं. So my suggestion always is that till 60 days before prelims, you should be in touch with the optional, maybe 2 hours or 2.5 hours a day, not more than that, but be in touch with the optional. Point number 1. Point number 2, for those people, those who are confident, chalo, yeah, by qualifying prelims only, you're not going to crack the examination. You need to crack mains. So yes, you need to take the preparation to that extent where after qualifying prelims, you can take it on mains. Prelims is just the opening of the gate, right? So for those who are not confident as well with optional, what about them? Right? Keeping all these things in mind, especially the aspect of being in touch with the subject, being in touch with the optional subject till at least 60 days before. That's why we have planned it this way. मुझे 30 दिन टाइम चाहिए. I need 30 days. So practically from 25th of February till 26th of March, my 30 days are done. But I have kept 1 day additional. You can see it here as well on the screen. 30 days plus 1. I have kept that 1 day as provisional. Say we don't know, we are human beings. Say I fall ill or something or the other happens, right? So that's the reason why we have kept that one additional day there. Ashutosh, one test series is already going on, man. And that's a free test series. Right? And this is not the time for test series as well, for optional test series. So optional test series will actually start after prelims. So one full-fledged test series would be there. That will be after prelims, not before prelims. Okay. So this crash course is there right now for revision purpose, right? Because while dealing with a lot of the questions and answers, जो हम लोग का टेस्ट सीरीज अभी चल रहा है, हम सभी को मालूम है कि वो फ्री टेस्ट सीरीज जो हम लोग का चल रहा है अभी, right? Where is it? Yeah. इस फ्री टेस्ट सीरीज से काफी सारे आंसर्स जब हम करेक्शन कर रहे हैं अभी, तो वी डू सी कि, और एटलीस्ट आई एम फेसिंग द इशू कि कईयों के साथ number of you have conceptual issues there, conceptual problems there, right? So it's because of that only which prompted me ki if we can go for a crash course, let's see, let's try, let's go for that. And that's why we planned this program, and the date was decided intentionally during that time, so that at least some contact with the optional subject remains there. Here, in any way, you will be preparing. Yes, this crash course will be online. Cognitive does not have any offline presence, right? This crash course will be completely online. And the other thing is, normally what we do, we give the whole day to GS, and then actually we waste the time most of the time, right? Now, give 8 hours, 9 hours to GS, but you also need to give 2 to 2.5 hours to optional. तो उसी वजह से वो टाइम रखा हुआ है ताकि लोग टच में भी रहे ऑप्शनल के, so people do remain in touch with the optional as well, and at the same point of time the revision keeps on happening. Okay, that's all about this particular course. Shagufta, I am not actually a teacher of Hindi, because in Hindi there are certain technical terms. हिंदी में कुछ टेक्निकल टर्म्स होते हैं जब हिंदी में सोशियोलॉजी पढ़ाए जाते हैं, जैसे एलियनेशन या इन सब के अपने अपने टर्म्स होते हैं. वो टर्म्स मुझे नहीं मालूम. मैं हिंदी इंग्लिश मिक्स करके क्लास तो ले सकता हूँ, क्लास में पढ़ाते वक्त फिर भी आई कैन यूज हिंदी फ्रॉम टाइम टू टाइम, लेकिन वो टेक्निकल टर्म्स मुझे नहीं आते हैं हिंदी में, because obviously I have never been a teacher of Hindi. So as such, the class can be bilingual, but originally the class would be that of English. तो समझते वक्त अगर आपको हेल्प चाहिए तो उसके लिए तो हिंदी यूज किया जा सकता है, लेकिन हिंदी में अगर आप हिंदी मीडियम के हो तो हिंदी में लिखते वक्त फिर मेरे क्लास से आप लिख नहीं पाओगे, वो एक इशू रहेगा. Okay. Chalo, let's come back. Let's start with the process of discussion that we were doing. Right? Till now, we have talked about alienation of Durkheim and Martin. We have also talked about Anomi of Durkheim and Martin. We have talked about Anomi of Durkheim, alienation of Karl Marx, and rational iron cage of Max Weber. We have talked about these two concepts, right? एक काम करते हैं, इनके कुछ नोट्स भी है, कुछ पीडीएफ हैंड रिटन पीडीएफ होंगे, लेकिन चलो इस वीडियो के साथ साथ वो हैंड रिटन जो पीडीएफ होंगे वो भी शेयर कर देंगे. Yeah, obviously this video will be made available. That's why we are recording this thing. Right? हम लोग कोशिश करेंगे कि आज शाम तक ही से अवेलेबल करवाया जा सके. We'll try so that we can make this video available by the evening only. Okay. I'm not promising, but I'll try. I'll have a talk with Bharat. Let's see where they do it. Okay, that decision is theirs, but the link will be there, and it will obviously be circulated for free of cost, right? Sure. Let's come back. Now I'm going for the next topic, that is social action, if possible. Chalo, let's talk about social action, because I know I have been consuming a lot of time. I am not going to do 4 topics now. Let's make it 3, right? Let's talk about social action only, because it's already more than 1.5 hours now, more than 90 minutes now. Okay. Uh, Social action as a concept. By the way, guys, is my voice echoing here by any means? Are you having any echo here? Good, good. Thank you. Thank you. So let's talk about social action as a concept. See, it was originally Weber who took up social action as a concept of discussion. Okay. Weber was discussing his concept of or his methodology of Verstehen. We all know Weber is the first one in sociology to talk about value neutrality. Weber is the first one in sociology who says that to be effective, we need to be value neutral. To be effective in our studies, to be true to our studies, we need to be value neutral. To be objective, we need to be value neutral, right? This method was given by Max Weber. But how to be value neutral? Weber gave us 2 particular ways to be value neutral. One is obviously the methodology or mechanism of ideal type. The other is the methodology or mechanism of Verstehen. Verstehen is what? Understanding the actor's perspective. What is the actor trying to say? What is the actor trying to write? Or what is the actor trying to mean? That's Verstehen. Actor's point of view. Understanding the actor's point of view. Interpret or understand. Understanding what? Verstehen literally means understanding. True, Ashutosh. But understanding what? Understanding the actor's point of view, not of the researcher. Because Weber tells us that we, the students of sociology, we, the sociological researchers, our mind is clouded with our own values, values of our society. So if we use our mind, we will never be able to be value neutral. And if we don't be value neutral, we would never be able to be objective in our study. So to be able to be objective in our study, we need to be value neutral, and to be value neutral, we need to be not using our own mind, rather use the understanding of the social actor. If the actor is doing something, why the actor is doing that. And Weber tells us that the actor, the social actors, they do anything because of a reason, because of a orientation, a reason which drives them to do something. And then Weber tells us that there can be only 4 such reasons, 4 such orientations which drives a social actor to do a social action. Okay, what are these 4 such orientations? He talks about Zweck rational or goal orientation, a goal driving an actor to do something to achieve that goal. Word rational, W-E-R-T, word rational. These are all German words. Weber was a German. Weber was translated into English by Talcott Parsons first, and Talcott Parsons left so many German words intact while translating. That's why Verstehen. Verstehen is also a German word, meaning understanding. Not interpret, understand. Okay. So same thing is happening here. Zweck rational means goal orientation. Word rational means value orientation. Then comes traditional social action. We do things, number of things we do because they are part of our tradition. Traditional social action and emotional social action. Quite often than not, the emotion also drives us to do something. Right? Weber talks about these 4 types of social action. Right? When Talcott Parsons was studying social action of Weber, he said that these can't be the only forms of social action, only orientations behind the social action. Number 1, Talcott Parsons realizes that Weber missed one essential aspect here. Weber did not define social action. So he first tries to define social action. He says, ordinarily, whatever we do is human behavior. Right? But if there are four conditions present, right? Those four conditions will convert that human behavior into a social action. Right? I've discussed these four conditions at length in that video of Talcott Parsons, which is already available. I'm not repeating them here. And then Parsons also says that if you talk about the orientation, the factors which motivate people to do the social action, there are broadly two major categories: motivational orientation and value orientation. But then these two major categories are further subdivided into 6 subcategories: 3 for motivational orientation, 3 for value orientation. Right? So see how Parsons completely changed the understanding of social action of Weber. To Weber, social action came as a discussion of Verstehen, understanding. Parsons is the first scholar from the English-speaking world to learn German, go to Germany and study Max Weber there in original. And when he was translating Max Weber into English, that's when he would realize that there are so many shortcomings of social action, discussion of social action by Max Weber. And as a result, he would develop this grand theory of social action. Right? So that's where lies the difference between the two. Clear? So I hope this is also clear, guys. Sure. Fine then. One thing, as I have promised, I have while teaching you only, I have messaged Mr. Bharat. I'll also share some materials. I'll also share some handwritten notes. These would be typically handwritten notes, guys. Okay. One would be on the idea of class in itself and class for itself. We'll share one PDF on that. Right? And at the same point of time, but again, let me be very honest, they would be from my class notes. I dictated, someone wrote, so there would be mistakes. There would be spelling mistakes, there would be grammatical mistakes, a lot of things would be there. So please, I hope you can understand that. So one notes will be on class in itself and class for itself on that particular concept. The other notes would be on the concept of some of these topics of comparative analysis. Okay. I hope I have been able to do justice with some of the areas. I have been able to help you at least a little bit here. I don't know, right?